This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 26th. And as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so number one on our list is ATNF. So far, so we have ask prints at that 10 level, but unfortunately, the second time that it just came up, not as many as we would like to see. But I do like the buying that we've seen coming up above it right here, about 10:04 to 10:10. These little shorter term bursts are really what's going to tell us, because technically we have enough at 10 to kind of start going, but obviously huge psychological level. So we're really going to need to see something to break this out. I mean, it's not going to be just a few little bursts of prints that are off level. It's going to take a bunch, because we can see it's already trading 6.5 million shares already. Coming back up that second time, those few aspirins that came in at 10, we're going to have to pull back a little bit from. But overall, definitely seeing some nice buying coming into this. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to see early this morning what happened on this move up, but because it was so parabolic and volume was pretty low, I'm going to have to assume there wasn't a lot of bigger prints that were coming out during that time frame. But at the same time, there had to be some type of buying up here. But unfortunately, we don't want to start our day making any type of assumption. So we want to definitely have something concrete to be able to go on. So we're pulling back from that 10 level right now. We just need to make sure that we're not seeing a way too much selling start to come in. We need to start to see buying as we're pulling back down from here to tell us that we're going to have any chance to really get moving back towards that upside. Definitely want to see prints like this. Those 942 definitely look really good, but we want to see them building from moving it down from that 10. Weird, my chart doesn't show it's going to 10. Make sure maybe that your sessions, US stock with pre and post market. I know sometimes that goes off by accident. Like you'll just open up your platform as there, so just check that out. That might be the reason behind it. But overall, I mean, it's definitely got a lot that's coming into it. You can see during this consolidation, a lot of volume. Just really want to see more and more buying coming into this, and then obviously trigger towards the upside. Just be careful, because 10 is not going to be easy, as we can see already. I mean, it's that psychological level, and it's a huge psychological level. So we're really going to want to see it blow past there and not really play many games, because if it doesn't move past there quickly, more than likely you're going to see exactly what you just saw. We're going to get that bar that comes right down underneath to continue building again. Now, VIPS, VIPS. So obviously over the past a couple of days, that this thing has taken a bit of a hit. But overall this morning, it's too mixed right now. Now, obviously, this 30 level right here is a big deal. That is a lot of prints that came in right before we started our meeting at that right before 9 o'clock. And then obviously afterwards, we can see the reaction was buying. Now, what number trade is this? Very simple. When we look at this, we're going to be looking for that number 3 to come up first. This reaction is telling us that we definitely have a bunch, some room to be able to continue up there. The only thing is that the spread, it really is jumping around. So just be careful with that. But overall, it's definitely looking like, I mean, we are getting that new selling that's coming in, but taking this big of a hit, I would not be shocked at all to see someone step in today and start to bring this thing up first, and especially be based off of these bid prints at 3, and then that reaction afterwards, kind of bring this up, a bunch before we would end up seeing it come back towards that downside, especially considering that today is the third day. I know we talked about this before, but third day, typically when the stock is just kind of just tanking, you'll see that those institutions start coming in and play that, plunge protection. So based off of what we have here, those prints, I mean, these are by far the dominant market maker that we've seen coming in at that 30. And then obviously with the reaction of buying, we're going to be looking for it to make a nice move to the upside first before we're going to be looking for it to come back down. Next thing is TME. So this thing is just getting hammered with selling. I mean, I don't think it's going to let me go all the way back, because right now it looks like mostly buying, but it really isn't. I mean, as we came down into that 18, we've just been seeing selling after selling after selling after selling. Now we do need to pull up. So overall, the selling that was coming in around that 18, that 1850 is now, showing a reaction as we come into that 18 of buying. So we're going to need to pull up to at least, we're looking at about 19 before we're going to be looking for this thing to continue on its way. Same deal as VIPs. If you look, we see, this is the third day coming in. So I would not be shocked to see those institutions seeing a bunch of buying coming in and kind of push the stock up before we end up seeing it come back down again. Now, a few sideless stocks, WKEY. WKEY. So we got a little bit at 15. I mean, there's really not much in there. There's a little bit of 1450, basically nothing at 15. So we'll end up coming back down. Definitely go out there and see if you can get shares. I know a lot of us have not been able to, but overall, I mean, it's a sideless because there's just not really anything that's that great there right now. I mean, the selling that's coming in, if you can't short it, really doesn't help us with anything. But it has been a mover. We've seen it come in. So if volume picks up, it's just something I'm going to be keeping on my list. There's real no game plan in it yet because we just haven't got any, controlling prints that really are good enough to be able to make that game plan. And then the MX, I'm still interested in. Now, obviously, another one to go out and look for shares for. But we made this move towards the upside. If you look, I mean, it really has had a lot of buying that was coming back in earlier this morning, 2250, which is way under. I understand that, but I'm just looking around this 2680. I mean, there is mostly buying within this consolidation, and it's very interesting that they're pinning it during the pre-market because volume, don't get me wrong, is pretty bad right now, but overall, just holding it like that, definitely going to be looking for a move to come out of there. It's just, once again, we don't really have any great prints that came into it. So that's why it's a sideless stock, because it has potential. It just hasn't shown us what it wants to do yet. And then one other thing that I'm going to bring up, it's really a bit expensive and it's not for everybody. It is going to move around a lot. Range is going to be very, very big, but BIDU. You can see range is just absolutely incredible, and it only takes a few prints to really go a long way in a stock like this. So right now, 190, 150, we have those aspirants that came in. You can see 190, we had aspirants that came in. So a move to the downside, I'm going to be expecting it to pull down quickly first and then looking for a move back up towards that 200 level, because if you look here, they had absolutely no time to build at that 200. Now yesterday you had a little bit that came into there, but you can see just that's way too big of a level for it not to be able to basically just crash through. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that and expect this stock to end up pulling back up. Those monster bids at 24.26 the other day said it all. And I mean, obviously, look at this thing just tank coming back. But once again, like I said, 200 is such a big level. It's got to gravitate back towards there just because it never really got to build. And that's just too big of a level to not build. So that's really the game plan that we have in it right now. Obviously, we don't have the greatest prints going on yet. But once again, not for nothing, 190, 150, that tells you a whole bunch. I mean, this is a lot in comparison to print personality. So we do have, pretty much a good game plan set up for us to be looking to go back up towards that 200. And then obviously from 200, it will give us an indication of what we're going to be looking for it to do from there. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Definitely a way, way better pre-market than what we saw yesterday. So definitely looking forward to going into things. Just remember, we're getting towards that time of the year where when Fridays come, after the money's made in the morning time, a lot of the time there'll be one or two trades that end up coming in the afternoon. So very important for the patience, wait for our high probability trades. Let's make sure we get ahead early, and then we take it from there. I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.